Modpacks in Minecraft are actually incredible feats, as back in the day before the days of Forge, Fabric, and other mod loaders making things easy, it was almost impossible to combine mods together compatibility-wise, due to many mods editing the same class files in Minecraft's vanilla code. However, a few brave souls ventured into the space and created Minecraft's earliest modpacks. Let's talk about these ancient beasts, as well as some that are a little more recent that paved the way for Minecraft modpacks as we know them today. This is 10 ancient Minecraft modpacks that you may have forgotten about. Starting out with the absolute godfather and king of modpacks, the overarching Technic. While the name Technic is still popular and you probably didn't forget about it, it deserves to be talked about as the pioneer in the modpack realm. You may have heard of the Technic launcher, which aims to compete with other modpack programs like CurseForge and the like, but before that, a long time ago, way back in Minecraft beta 1.5-ish back in 2010, Technic was its own modpack, featuring absolute golden Hall of Fame Minecraft mods such as Mo Creatures, Industrial Craft, and Millionaire. The point of Technic was to mechanize and automate certain things about Minecraft and reach some sort of industrial endgame in your world. It was incredible and, well, was actually an accident. I was able to find a Reddit thread of the original creator of Technic talking about it, and he described it as him just mashing things together to see if it worked and just threw a name on the mesh of mods. It's amazing how that became one of the biggest modpacks in history, being covered by massive creators of the time period and becoming an entire brand with offshoots of other modpacks and online series you probably remember and love, such as the legendary Tekkit, which is basically the multiplayer form of Technic. All started by some dude plugging things into Minecraft.jar to see what happened. Sadly, the original, the beta Technic pack has been lost forever, though you probably could just make one yourself by smashing all those mods together again. Due to the fact that the mods included in it weren't included with permission, and many of them had statements to not distribute them in this way, so the owner was forced to take it down. And despite many old mod packs surviving on the modern Technic launcher, the OG is gone forever. Doesn't make the memories any less sweet though. Moving on to something a little more recent than Technic, Crash Landing. Crash Landing was a Forge mod pack made in 1.6.4 that aimed to mimic, well, a crash landing onto the Minecraft world, as it drops you in an extra hardcore survival style experience. It has quests as a progression system using the hardcore questing mod, all while upping the danger level with dehydration and overheating as a risk. The only way to not permanently lose the world via hardcore is to use the sync mod with the shell constructor and literally clone yourself before you die for the first time. It was difficult but rewarding, grindy but fun once you got to the point of not worrying about food and water, and a lot of people remember this one fondly. Sadly, the creator, One Scandar, never updated it past 1.6.4, which is the case with a lot of these old mod packs. You can still easily play it on CurseForge luckily, however. Considering how mod packs work, obviously the updates depend on the mods inside the pack updating too, and in the case of Crash Landing, many of them sadly never did, and fell victim to the mod Dark Ages. And while there are many hardcore mod packs out there, Crash Landing was the first experience for many, and none will capture the feeling of loading it up for the first time back in 2013. Another ancient one, another one on the laundry list of mods and mod packs that the Yogscast made famous all the way back in beta 1.5. Now that's what I call Minecraft by Pudding Huxtable. This was another mashed up mod pack with adventure and lively elements that also came with a twist. It included a custom map to play the pack on. It had classic mods like Millionaire and Too Many Items, airships, and sky pirates, but also funny mods like Peach Dudes that adds live peaches to trees that run away when you try to catch them. It made the Minecraft world feel more alive, which if you were a beta player back in the day, you can appreciate how crazy this was for the time, as back then worlds were incredibly empty, with no villages or structures or NPCs outside of the hostile and friendly mobs at the time. Compatibility issues aside, the way it completely changed the game at a time when it was in its infancy is crazy in and of itself. Pudding Huxtable would update it once again to beta 1.6, then never again, leaving now That's What I Call Minecraft with its own mark on Minecraft beta and truly becoming another pioneer for mod packs as we know them today. The awesome thing is, the Wayback Machine not only preserved the original website, but also the download itself, so you can still relive the days of this one by loading it up in something like Multi-MC. I've linked that and the rest of these ones below. And speaking of the Yogscast, who literally make tons of appearances in every one of my old Minecraft Things list videos, they had their own Modpack way back in the day, which is probably the most documented and easy to research out of any on this list, despite being technically deleted from existence. This is Yogbox, one of the first ever Yogscast branded Minecraft related things. It was originally made for Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, and at its death and last update, official release 1.2, it contained 19 mods, such as Raise Minimap, Battle Towers, Airships of course, Mo Creatures, and the star of the video, Millionaire. Seriously, this one should have gotten an Academy Award for compatibility back in the day. Of course, Lewis and Simon made yet another legendary series on the Yogbox Modpack. It was made available on the aforementioned Technic launcher, however, and I couldn't really figure out why. Maybe it was due to restrictions or limitations set by mod developers of the pack's mods, but it was removed entirely from the Technic launcher. There's a Yogbox 2.0, which is a fan-made recreation that was actually given the stamp of approval by the Yogscast themselves. Anyway, the Yogbox mod was many people's introduction to mod packs back in the day because, let's face it, they were the absolute kings of the Minecraft content creation sphere in the beta days. So of course, their mod pack would become the most popular pretty much instantly. It leaves a mark for sure in Minecraft history and will go down forever as one of the most recognizable and remembered names in mod packs. Going to a more recent one now, the next one is Sevtech Ages. This one was created for version 1.12 and has stayed in 1.12 to this day. I love the concept of this one, and despite it not being old at all per se, it definitely came and went with the wind. The mod pack, as its name suggests, has you progressing through an age system, like Age of Empires meets Minecraft. It's super extensive, giving Minecraft, a game with inherently no purpose, a sense of progress, discovery, and meaning if you're into that sort of thing. It does things like lock ores until you unlock them, dynamically hidden items and recipes based on what age you're in, and having mob spawns go with progression as well. The further along you are, the more quantity and the more difficult the mobs will be. The age progression is handled via custom achievements, so reaching those will unlock the new things in your world. You start with nothing, and end up gaining access to features slowly over time. It definitely ranks up there among difficult or challenge mod packs as one of the greatest ever made. The best part is too, it has full multiplayer functionality, so you can enjoy this one with your friends. And since it's locked into time forever, you can still go back to 1.12, one of the most iconic versions for mods in history, and play it just as it used to be. I wish it would get updated, but as with most of these, they are at the mercy of the mods they contain following in their footsteps. Now that we're halfway through the list, a reminder that I make tons of nostalgic Minecraft content like this, so remember to subscribe and also join my Discord so you don't miss anything or any news. Thank you. The next on the list is another ancient mod pack that was made for the Yogscast back in the day. This was Hack/Mine, an RPG-style dungeon crawling mod pack originally created in 2012 for version 1.2. It had you selecting a class when you start out, choosing from warrior, or ranger, or mage, each with their own set of abilities and starter items, and heading into a world full of generated dungeons with new loot, items, mobs, and magical things added into Minecraft. It has skill progression, NPCs, radar, new biomes, the list goes on. It's extensive and extremely impressive for this old of a Minecraft version. This was the first time we had really ever seen something like this back in 2012. There were singular mods that added magic and RPG elements, but never something thrown together into a mod pack like Hack/Mine was. The interesting thing is, the developer Frizzle has updated it as recently as 2018, not to a new version, but making it more compatible with modern Java versions. Not Java Minecraft, Java the actual program. It also works on the Technic launcher to this day, so fortunately you can go play it if you want and it will still work. Again, despite being so old, it's amazingly fun and a great way to enjoy a nostalgia trip if you played it back in the day. Another challenge mod pack, and one of my all-time favorites just because of how creative it is, the Regrowth mod pack for version 1.7. As the name vaguely suggests, the Minecraft world in all its liveliness and nature has turned into a complete wasteland, void of any plant life at all. It is the player's responsibility to learn how to grow things back and slowly turn the world into what is recognizable in vanilla. It's challenging yet rewarding, and like the other ones on this list, gives the player a sense of purpose that may be lost in vanilla Minecraft. You start out with with your own little oasis among the infinite deadland and grow it as much as you possibly can. You can find tiny remnants of old plant life dead in the wasteland that you try to harvest seeds from to get started. It's such a cool take on the game and reminds me of other survival games with the same concept, like Don't Starve or something. Like the Sevtech Ages pack, Regrowth is available to easily be played with your friends and is basically drag and drop as far as server hosting goes. There have been many cool YouTube series made from it in the multiplayer space too. Sadly, Regrowth was never updated past 1.7.10, but you can still play it on CurseForge and everything still works pretty good. I don't think there's been another mod pack made like it since that time, but if there is, leave a comment down below because I love the concept that much. One of the most legendary and recognized Feed the Beast mod packs ever made was Obscurity. Obscurity was also in version 1.7.10 and has a rich backstory with the combination of dozens of Minecraft mods. The player is tasked to save the world, a world that has, quote, begun to feel the effects of man's hunger for resources and ruthless destruction of the environment. People have begun to worry about what will be left for the future. Something has to be done. A group of highly trained physicists have been working on something new and very dangerous: world compression. Although our intention was to save the Earth, it seems it may now be trapped. You are now the only one who can save us all. There's no turning back. You must save the world as time is running out. It actually won an award in a Feed the Beast competition in 2015, and for good reason. It's hardcore, challenging, interesting, and a new take on survival never before seen. You have a quest log to keep track of saving the world task. I just love the storyline. It makes you feel more immersed and makes every decision feel important. Definitely one of the most polished mod packs ever made. Obscurity sadly has never been updated, but according to its page, there is something in the works. Whether or not we'll see a comeback though remains to be seen. I've covered this next one before in a standalone video, but I'm adding it to the list because it's not only super old, but also because I just like it so much. This could not be more ancient, as it's literally the first known mod pack ever created in Minecraft. This is Zombe's mod pack, which contains a few individual mods that help you essentially cheat in some of the earliest versions of Minecraft. And by earliest versions of Minecraft, I mean literally Alpha 1.2, a version that barely had any modding at all, let alone an entire mod pack added to the game in the times when the code was the most unstable. In fact, it predated the next confirmed mod pack by 3 months and quite a few versions of the game. It allows you to fly, create custom crafting recipes, drive minecarts like Mario Kart, the very first known teleportation cheat, and more tweaks like that. On my beta 1.7.3 SMP, we have permissions set up to where the staff team uses Zombe's mod pack as a mod tool. By the way, you should join that beta SMP via my Discord in the description. Zombe's mod pack is not only a historical Minecraft treasure, but a roadmap to mod packs as we know them today, as the developer Tanzanite literally pioneered not only the phrase mod pack, but the method of putting mods together to make things work. This led to the idea of the mod loader, think Risugami's mod loader, to bridge the gap of compatibility even further. Obviously, from Risugami's mod loader, things took off, and CurseForge and other mod loaders and launchers practically run the modding scene today, and it's all thanks to this goofy, clunky mod pack from 2010. If you'd like the full incredible story of Zombe's mod pack, definitely check out my full retrospective from last year. I've mentioned Feed the Beast a couple times in this video, and it absolutely deserves a spot on this list. Now, if you look up Feed the Beast today, you'll find a massive collection of mod packs, a big website, a wiki, a launcher, and an entire large subreddit of the same name. Feed the Beast has become the haven and go-to spot for nostalgic and old mod pack preservation, but it didn't start out that way. No, Feed the Beast had humble beginnings as a mod pack itself in version 1.2.5, and a very interesting one at that, as not only did it feature a bunch of old mods of course, but it was also packaged and meant to play with an entire custom map. This map would see many iterations as Feed the Beast was tweaked and made into many different varieties and difficulties, like Feed the Beast Insanity or Feed the Beast Infinity, which was like Bedrock Skyblock. But the first one took place in a pyramid that gave players a series of challenges, making you create items to progress through the pyramid and put them in the chest. This is why it was called Feed the Beast, as the pyramid was the beast and you were feeding it the items. The name stuck and now is one of the most recognizable things in Minecraft history. It featured mainly tech mods like industrial craft, factorization, and advanced machines, but also classics like Twilight Forest and Ray's Minimap. map. Like I said, Feed the Beast exploded into popularity, with many variations and iterations, especially when played by Hall of Fame creators Stampy Longhead and Ballistic Squid back in their very early days. Honestly, the story of Feed the Beast deserves its own video entirely, but the fact of the matter is, having the humble beginnings of a relatively simple mod pack turn into one of the most organized modding systems in all of Minecraft is an incredible feat. And so, what other mod packs do you remember that weren't on this list? Let me know in the comments. I make a lot of nostalgic content like this, so if you'd like to see more, make sure of course to subscribe and like the video as it helps me out a ton. I love you all so very much. Go play some Aether mod today, and I'll see you in the next video. Special thanks to my channel members on these signs, especially my knights Evinium, Fantic, Chris the Bear, Ponytail MC, Ferret Wolf 95, Caden TMG, Melon Siggy, Thomas Wellman Boyd, and Crimson, and of course my beloved Lord members, names unknown, Jake P 2013, Spalical, Alas, A Blair, Lilia Blue, Gunslinger Zach, the AB Rail Fan, Jazz This, Tor Willem, and Dirty Dan.